Well, hello everyone. I think I am live on Facebook and let me just double check. Got to multitask and everything here and just make sure that's okay. Yeah, there we are. I am Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I did have this is just live coaching. How do we homeschool our kids, especially multiple ages? And so I had some people submit questions. I had one person I thought might show up. I'm going to save her question for a little bit just in case she shows up live, and then we'll have some interaction. I would love to do this like once a quarter and just answer your questions. You get on Zoom with me and we talk and we go back and forth. Otherwise, you can submit the questions like some of these are, and then I'll answer those as well. Now, before we jump into this, I can't do it there, but I did it on my phone. Before we jump into this, I want to make sure everyone knows we still have one more free class Tuesday night, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Let me turn the audio down. Well, hello. Let me see who's here. Let me paste this. Hello, Shalita. Glad you are here. And good evening. I'm not sure, where are you in the evening? We're still afternoon, middle of the afternoon. And my timers, I thought I turned them all off. Okay, so my class is tomorrow night, 4 Steps to Raising Christian Leaders in Your Homeschool. We will be that's the last time I'm going to be doing that class, maybe till next year. So if you're at all interested in hearing those 4 steps, I would very much encourage you to sign up at the link there. There is still time to sign up. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and just go through some of the questions that I have received. And if Judith shows up, I will we'll do a live coaching as well. But I had one question is, my husband is very much a conveyor belt believer. It's been hard with his comments. My boys love homeschooling. What do I do? Let me go back and explain what I mean by conveyor belts. Sort of like, you hop on the conveyor belt, it's going along, all the kids hop on at the same place, they do the same activities, they're tested the same way, and they get a stamp of approval and they go to the next station, do all the same things, tested the same way, and go to the next one. There are 12 stations. And then when you finish station 12, you get a stamp of approval and you are sent off to the market, the job market. It is what we see in modern education, and it doesn't really teach thinking skills, a love of learning. In fact, I think it chokes them out. I talk about ways that you can overcome the conveyor belt in my class, and this was someone who had been on the class. And so I want to just sort of address this because, when husband and wife aren't on the same page school-wise, and I can tell you, I understand. Let me tell my story and then I'll give you a few tips as well. My story is Ashley was in third grade. In her classroom, there were 3 girls. The other 2 ganged up on her. And so it was bad. Steve went out to the lunch with the headmaster and came back and he was like, I think we're going to leave her there. Even though we had talked about pulling her out, this was at Christmas time. And I will tell you, this one of the times I probably went, zip my lip, Carrie. I didn't say anything. I was like, really? And my attitude was not what God wanted it to be. My attitude was, I spend all day long here with these kids. Don't you think I know better what it is? But he's the leader of our house. And I needed to respect him and his decision. So I began to pray about it. Now, this is one of those prayers that God answered quickly. About 3 weeks later, something happened with Ashley at school, and Steve said, we're pulling her out tomorrow. All right. And so we did. We pulled her out and homeschooled the rest of the year for that year. So let me give you some ideas. If you want to hop off the conveyor belt and your spouse is not on board, here are some things that I would encourage you to do, and some things that I hopefully just chatted. I was looking to see if I can find comments. There we go. And hello, Judith. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Illinois. Okay, y'all are on a different time zone. Here are some things you could do when your husband is not on board with whatever you feel is the best thing. Number 1, you need to pray. Just like I did, because the only person that is going to change your husband, the only person that was going to change Steve is God. I could not do it. We had already talked about the problems and what we should do. I mean, he knew all the options out there. The other thing is to be respectful. Wives are to respect their husband and don't do this. Because I can go into a bunch of stories. I used to roll my eyes when the kids were little. Ashley was about 5 years old. And Steve had said, Carrie, quit rolling your eyes at me. And I said, I'm not rolling my eyes at you. And 2 weeks later, Ashley rolled her eyes at me. And I had to sit her down and say, oh, this, first of all, it's like, okay, Carrie. Told her that was wrong. We're going to work on it together. I had to apologize to Steve as well. Pray, be respectful, love him well, love him unconditionally, no matter what. Keep praying. And then there are things that I actually think that you can do to show what is going on. If you want to hop off the conveyor belt, or maybe you don't make your kids sit at a desk and, sort of driving them crazy. I get it. Here are some things you could do. Have your kids, use narration to show what they are learning. Use a reading journal to show what they're learning. Let your husband read that and say the reading journals are just rough drafts, but I want you to see the kinds of things that are going on in their head and the things that they're learning. If you're not sure about reading journals, hop on tomorrow's class, because I'll be talking about reading journals and how we use them. Have your kids make a presentation of what they are learning and make sure they practice well and they can present it well to dad. There are some different things that you can do. We talk a lot about this in my Raising Leaders, Not Followers. I will talk more. I'll also talk about it tomorrow in our free class, 4 Steps to Raising Christian Leaders. But if you're going to hop off the conveyor belt, think outside the box, you need to find ways that you can demonstrate what they're learning. Another thing, I don't have one here with me, I don't think, is a lap book, a manila folder you open up, and there's all sorts of pockets, and the kids will report what they are learning. That's great for younger kids as well. So those are just a few ideas when you're not exactly on the same page. And anyone that has a question, I'm still open to answering questions in Facebook. Another question I had was, I'm looking for more ways to continue to keep my children to be godly leaders. All right. And that's what I've been talking a lot about all of May. All right. And we are finishing up this week. But for those of you interested in raising your kids to have an impact on the world instead of the world having an impact on them, to influence those around them instead of the others influencing them for Jesus. Let me just give you a little sneak peek of what one thing I am going to talk about. And I believe that if you want to raise your kids to be godly leaders, you need to start with character. Character is the foundation of all good leadership. And that would be something, I give many ways that you can do this in the class tomorrow, but because I believe this so strongly. It is so important that we raise our kids in godly character. And as far as I'm concerned, if a 14-year-old does not have godly character, then we need to take that child back and work on the character. Do they have, or are they loving? Are they humble? Do they persevere? Do they have a work ethic? Do they argue with you all the time? Are they selfish, or are they a peacemaker? Are they arguing? All of those things. Now, I named a bunch of negatives. Do they bless others? Do they help you around the house? Do they help their siblings? Do they work well? There's lots of things you should praise them for too. But I believe one of the most important things you can do to raise your kids to be godly leaders is to give them godly character. It starts with you, mom. You have got to be modeling. If you're gossiping about people, your kids are going to gossip. If you are blessing other people and honoring them, your kids will bless and honor. Actually, I was at church yesterday and we're doing something a little different. Y'all may think my church is sort of out there, but oh my gosh, the beach fell. Okay, well, we're just going to let it fall because I am not climbing up in the middle of this thing. Well, let's do it this way. I've been having problems with my tape, and that one will probably fall in a minute too. Oh, I can have a little palm tree on my head. So in our church this summer, instead of having us just consume whatever the pastor says, we're having short sermons, and then we are sitting at tables and then discussing the sermon. And I just thought that was so cool. One of the parents has their teenagers go to other tables to get to know people of other ages. So one of the 14-year-old was at my table, and we wait and we do our singing at the end, which is actually sort of cool because you're sort of thought through a lot of things off topic. But the 14-year-old afterwards, his older sister, and I don't know how old she is, I'm going to guess she's 17 or so, she can drive, came over to her 14-year-old sibling and prayed for him. I mean, this was in the middle of worship time and singing, and that's sort of normal in my church. If you feel the Holy Spirit leading you to pray for someone, you can. But I thought, wow, that is because their parents have modeled that for them, I believe. So there's another thing that you could do as far as godly leaders is really modeling and working on godly character. Finally, I think you need to give your kids opportunities to show leadership wherever they are. You know, a 10-year-old can lead his younger brother. A 13-year-old can take ownership in their education and lead in their own education. Look for opportunities for them to lead well. So if you want to know more ideas, come to the sneak peek tomorrow, howtohomeschoolmychild.com/4steps. I don't see Judith here, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about her question. This is the last one that we got. She has a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, and she wants to know, how do we keep our little ones entertained while you homeschool the older one? She has 2 questions. That's the first one. It gets overwhelming. Can you relate? I get this question a lot because the 2-year-old wants the mom's attention or tries to get into whatever her sister is doing. So here are some questions I would ask yourself. First of all, how much time are you homeschooling? If you're homeschooling like 6 hours for a 7-year-old, too long. Are you taking like 2-hour blocks to homeschool, or are you breaking it down into like 15 or 20-minute segments? Take a break. 15, 20-minute segment, working with your 7-year-old, and maybe alternate. Work with your 7-year-old, they should be able to work independently on something, and then do something fun with your 2-year-old, and then give your 2-year-old something to do, and then alternate that as well. I also think it's important that you have toy baskets or fun baskets or whatever. And if you homeschool 5 days a week, you probably need 5 of them. And that basket only comes out on that day of the week. If you have a Monday basket, it has special things that the 2-year-old can only play with during that time, on Monday. The Tuesday basket only comes out on Tuesday and Wednesday and so on and so forth. So that would be some ideas that I would do. I had something else. And then my other question, could you do something with the 2-year-old? I have a 7-year-old granddaughter, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. She just turned 3. So I've lived through the 2-year-old stage. There are many activities that we do together. Yes, the 7-year-old. The other thing the 7-year-old does, and it may not apply to you, but it might apply to some others, is she can read to the 3-year-old. She can read to the 5-year-old. But if you're a 7-year-old, and I'm going to move on into the next question, struggling with helping my 7-year-old learn how to read, and she feels defeated. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 things. As soon as I get off, I want to share with you a webinar that is next Monday. I think it's Monday or Tuesday. And it is Homeschool Superhero Sarah Miller's on teaching kids how to read and get the block that's going on. She has some great tips. And so I have a link to her free class that you can sign up for right now if you are frustrated and feel defeated. But let me share another story. This is for people who their kids aren't learning. They don't know how to read and they're 7 years old. And again, that's because a lot of times we're on that conveyor belt. And you know, when you're 7 years old in the United States, you better know how to read. Some kids just develop differently. My daughter, Gentry, did not know her times tables till she was in algebra. I did everything I could think of. I had every contraction. I was a math minor with education. I should be able to teach my own child how to memorize the times tables. She just was not ready. And so we did some other things. But the other thing I want to share as far as reading, Hunter is our youngest. He studied, he knew how to read at your normal age, whatever. He didn't like reading at all, but he could read. And he had a friend that was his age who struggled with reading. And his mom was a former public school teacher, and she was so patient. I don't think her son learned to read till he was 10 years old. And you know what happened? When he turned 10 and he learned how to read, it just kicked in and he went far above all his friends. He definitely was reading above Hunter. He liked to read, and Hunter still didn't like to read. Hunter likes to read now. But I would encourage you to just be patient, give yourself grace, and don't feel defeated. You need to go find some verses about God has given you everything that you need. I can do all things through Jesus Christ that strengthens me. And you read that verse out loud every day when you get up, and it will become a part of you. You depend on God to be able to help you move forward in this, but give yourself patience, give your child patience, give yourself grace, give your child grace. And some things are just going to take some time. I would encourage you to do something fun with both the girls at least once a week. I'm not saying like go out to a movie. I'm saying just a little fun act, even just watching. If you are studying ocean animals, watch some YouTube videos on dolphins or whales or jellyfish or whatever you want. If you are studying the fruit of the spirit, again, you could go find you're gonna have to find a good one on the fruit of the spirit. Learn the fruit of the spirit song and make it fun. My kids would sing songs over there and they would dance around, and they did not even know that they were learning something. So I would encourage you. I think a two-year-old may not be able to say all the words correctly, but they can definitely they can definitely learn those songs. My granddaughter, she was about 2.5, and all of a sudden they were driving home, and she started counting in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. I think that's as far as I'd gotten with her. And they were telling me, hey, Mom, Landry was like counting in Spanish on the way home from church or on the way home from somewhere. You know, I have no idea. I hadn't taught her a song, but we had repeated it so much, and songs are easy to repeat. The hot dog song, I don't know if y'all know the hot dog song, but the Mickey Mouse hot dogs, she knows that. And I'll tell you what else she knows. She knows her ABCs when she was 2 years old. Now, did my daughter sit down and go, okay, this is A, this is B, this is C, and show pictures? No, that is one of her favorite songs. And so she would sing it, and she loves it. And I mean, sometime this last winter or spring, so she was older too, she can sing pretty much all of the ABCs. She still gets her little Spanish number. She keeps going, uno, dos, cuatro, cinco, seis. And I'm like, oh, you're forgetting number 3, Trace. So let me see, I got another question. That was my question. I would love to sign up for the webinar. Okay, Judith, the webinar link is in the comments on this video, and it's howtohomeschoolmychild.com/4steps. And so you can get to that there. I wanted to give you a link that all you had to do was click and sign up for that as well. Okay, and a couple other questions I will go ahead and answer about raising leaders. I've had many people, and I've said it a gazillion times, I want to sign up for Raising Leaders, Not Followers. Is there lifetime access? Yes, yes, yes. There is once you sign up, you get everything in the course, and you can go back to it. I think it's Rose or Shelley one said, thank you so much for one of my students. Thank you so much for giving us lifetime access. When I need it, I can always go back and watch a video again, or I can pull out the printable that pertains to whatever I need help with at that time. And so, yes, you have lifetime access. Another thing is Raising Leaders, Not Followers a good fit for 13 and 15-year-olds? Same with 4 Steps, the webinar. Let's talk about both of them. Yes, it is good for kids of all ages. We talk and we start with preschool and kindergarten. We go all the way to kindergarten. The class will start with character, and character better start when they're babies. And we talk about some things you can do when they're young. And that is the foundation of leadership. You may think they're just in preschool. Should we wait till high school? Well, yeah, if you wait till high school to lay that foundation, it is too late. And we talk about other things along the way. And then we talk about wise decision-making for our teenagers before they go off on their own. And so both the Raising Leaders course and 4 Steps, I'll tell you, 4 Steps is a free class. You will get the whole overview and the bulk of there goes the thing. You'll get everything you need to be able to move forward. Raising Leaders, Not Followers, I'm going to deep dive with you on all 4 steps. We're going to give you a foundation of what's going on. This live is, I got everything falling down and things going off. Raising Leaders, I believe, that's our flagship. I believe kids need to grow up to lead. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I got a whole row of leadership books over there, many by John Maxwell, because he has studied it. And he is the one that says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. How can you raise your kids to influence others? Almost all of our children will grow up to be leaders, 99% of them, because that many, I'm pretty sure, will have children, and they need to lead their children, lead their family well as a mom or as a dad. So on my little soapbox. Okay, any other questions before we close off? I hope to see you tomorrow. howtohomeschoolmychild.com/4steps. Oh, I forgot to give you howtohomeschoolmychild.com/leaders is the course that many of you have been looking at. Let me just put that in the chat right now. Well, it's not doing it. As soon as this is over, I will put that link in there as well. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. I will see y'all later. Y'all have a great day.